Wow.
Wow, I think it's like understatement of the year.
That was kind of unbelievable. So we're on day 3 of our retreat.
Day 3 of our couples retreat. Yeah.
We've just finished the morning session before lunch.
Yeah.
And I think we just witnessed a spiritual awakening.
Oh my God, it was an absolute rapture. Like when I tell you, this guy, we've seen a steady progression in him over the days. His movement was quite contained, and even yesterday we were exploring like how his was a very internal experience. And part of the reason that he didn't express more was because it felt uncomfortable for him and foreign for him, but it also didn't really feel fully safe. And we didn't really get into why specifically that was. And then today was getting them more expressive and a bit more in their bodies.
Yeah, so we took them on a journey through being present, to being curious, to being exploratory, to being curious about the world around them, being curious how they move through the world, being curious about how they move in front of each other. And that was all very limited. It was very contained. It was very boxed. And we had a discussion about this.
Yeah.
And like, we don't dance. We're not dancers.
Yeah, they were pretty much just like, yeah, if you can't tell, like, we don't really dance that much.
I was like, no, you do dance, because dance is just movement with rhythm, and you can move to music. It doesn't have to look a particular way. And sorry, go on.
I was gonna say, then they revealed they do kind of dance when they're in the kitchen together.
Yeah.
So it's like there are these pockets of expression with it. They have it, but it wasn't something that they like proactively choose to explore. And that's why I actually feel what made today so powerful was that, again, all of this was like a progression into a new expression and feeling safe to be in that expression and be witnessed in that expression.
And be willing to have the experience. So before the experience, I asked them if they're willing to step or peek outside of the box that they have been limited within.
Yeah.
And they were a yes, because they are adventurous and they like exploring boundaries. And gosh, what happened?
Oh my gosh. So we had the woman go first, and it was beautiful because we had already had this song picked for her, and it was a song that actually reminded her of college. And so it already had this like theme of nostalgia. And she puts her blindfold on, and she just like starts to move her body, and she's being very expressive in, to the capacity of her limit. And it was so beautiful, and the most expressive that we've seen her. And so then when she finishes, she shares her experience, and then we ask her partner, it's like, okay, are you ready to go? And he was literally like, oh, I'll try. Like literally he had no idea, and he was like, I don't even think I could do this. Like that's like the tone that he had in his voice was like,
I could give it a go, I guess. And because his movement before was very limited, it was limited. Like just, very minimal. Very minimal movement.
Today he was a little bit more expressive, and we actually asked him about that. I was like, what was that like for you? And he said it was incredibly awkward.
Yes.
Like, why? It's like, because I'm not used to moving like that, and I'm definitely not used to being seen in movement like that. And so it felt awkward. And even for her witnesses, she's like, yeah, it's kind of awkward. Like we don't move like this normally.
So to make it easier, we invited a blindfold.
Yeah.
So they could just drop into their own space.
Yeah.
And then he had a bit of
there was a lot of apprehension,
salty courage.
Yeah. They had a mocktail that they had made, and we were making a joke that was like, oh, why don't you have a drink of what she's having just to get your body prepared for where you're going. Little did we know where he was going.
Little did he know.
Oh my gosh, he had no idea. None of us did. But she had an intuition, and so David had played a song. He actually asked for a different song, and we're like, great. And she knew. She was like, hey, I think I know the perfect song, and I'll DJ this. So we're like, great. So we gave her the phone, and she put on a song. and he's sitting there blindfolded, and the second it clicked what song it was, the water gates are flooding, and he literally went, he was just like, yeah. Like it was literally like he was blasted open.
He literally opened up himself, like his body expression.
Oh my God.
And he went on an entire journey for the duration of that song.
He was talking afterwards. It was like he saw the femininity and he started dancing very feminine, and then he saw he saw colors, and he was like, I was literally tripping.
Yeah.
So much energy moving through him. He's like, it was so intense. Like all of a sudden it opened me up, and it was all this energy that started to come out of him. And it, to me, that was rapture. Like that was God just exploding him open, like literally breaking him open, allowing the emotions to come through, allowing him to transcend timelines through all the other years and times in his life where he's had that song playing. Like literally portal hopping.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he left his body.
Yeah, he said, like, I used to actually trip to this song, but this was a whole new level, a whole different experience, and something he hadn't had before. To be able to access that kind of euphoric, transcendental, yet very present with his experience state, just through music and movement.
And permission.
Safety.
Safety, such a big piece here. And it was so beautiful because we were watching his partner, as he gets emotional, she's getting emotional, and she's just witnessing him in this blissed out, transcendental, emotional experience, and at the end, the song kind of wanes down, and you can tell his body's just
vibrating.
He's vibrating. He's still really in it. He's in his emotional state, and we have her go up behind him and just kind of regulate and help ground his energy, because even when we sat down and was like, how was that like? He was still like, I'm
not here.
I don't even know if I'm
not back.
Present. Yeah, I'm not back yet. Feeling all the energy alive in his body, and you could tell just when he sat, it was like,
what the fuck just happened?
What the fuck just happened?
And it wasn't just that moment that allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
It was the whole last 3 days that invited that created the perfect storm of circumstances to invite that spirit to take over his body and have that experience.
It was such a surrendered state. He described it as like, it's like a hot knife just slicing through butter. The second the song just came, just
straight to his core.
Melting straight to his core, and just that literally was him in a fully surrendered state. And it was so beautiful to witness.
So beautiful to witness. This individual who had been so contained in his expression, so emotionless, really.
Not too much. He had some emotional experiences yesterday in a breakthrough, but this was like...
But not very self-expressive.
Yeah, not very self-expressive, because it felt awkward for him. And
yes.
It was so clear that he was being moved. He was not moving his body. He was being moved. Like, the spirit was like, get out here. I'm going to take you on this journey, because he was ready. He was ready. He was ready. It was the perfect, like you're saying, the perfect series of moments and the perfect amount of openness and receptivity for God to do what God does, which was just create an awakening and a reclamation of a part of him that had been lost.
And we'd spent the morning talking about being in flow state, being in presence, stepping outside of the I, and just being in the moment. Yeah. And to then witness him have that in a way that he's not experienced before.
Ever in his life.
And then it was a prayer for us. It's a prayer. It's a commune with the divine. It's stepping outside of his limited self to have an experience, but also through himself to us, that is the definition of prayer, and that's where Sex.Prayers goes, is to be able to have that experience, yes, in intimacy, but in life.
In life. You have to feel safe to have it in life, really, to have it with intimacy. And all that it really is at the end of the day is just an openness, and it is a surrender, and that comes with faith that you'll be taken care of and supported, and also trust in yourself and your circumstances and your environment. And so if you don't have all those key ingredients, it can make it really challenging to have these rapturous experiences, let alone feel like they're possible for you to access. I would bet that had we asked him before if he's ever accessed something like this, probably not. Definitely not on this scale.
Not sober.
Not sober, yeah.
No.
Yeah. It was incredible. I will hold on to this memory for the rest of my life. If I've peaked, I'm so happy with that.
He started having this experience, and you were like, oh my God.
I literally was shocked, y'all. Like, jaw dropped, just staring. His partner's like emotional, and I'm like, I can't take my eyes off of him. I'm like, just as much as he was blasted open, I was blasted open. Just like the ricochet and ripple of what he was experiencing. I was like, I'm trying to hold this container. And also like, you know, I could have started screaming. I was like, I was so lit up.
Yeah. It's such a...
I still feel it in my body.
Yeah. Amazing to be able to... It's not even about being able to facilitate it, but to just witness someone having that experience. It's so personal, it's so vulnerable, it's so
vulnerable.
Transformational. I'm very grateful.
I'm so grateful. That was our most epic session yet. Check. Perfect. Touched God? Check. Amazing.
Well, she had her epiphany yesterday, and he had his breakthrough today. And this is the benefit of doing a 3-4 day container.
Yeah.
Is that it creates the space to go on that journey. And I was saying before, you know, spent 10 years teaching yoga, and maybe once or twice have managed to have a class where someone's touched on that. But I knew it was always there, and it was the thing, like I couldn't facilitate because of the circumstances, or I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
And it was the thing that was missing for me. It's like, it's not about just stretching and sweating. It's about being able to connect, to experience prayer.
Yeah. That's why I love somatic embodiment. There are no rules. There's no limits. It's all internal limits. So it's like whatever perceived right or wrongness, like once we can break free from that and we just allow everything to just be as it is and be present in the moment, that's what makes these types of experiences possible.
It's authentic.
It's authentic.
And, you know, we were saying to them, it's not a learning, it's a remembering.
Yeah.
It's delayering all of the dust and life. Yeah, that's the best word for it. Layers of life in front of that spark at the core that gets to express itself.
And it can only be accessed through openness and play, right? Like playing the game, like playing with the present moment, being in communion with the present moment and the energies that are alive, and allowing oneself to become boundless in that moment. That's like, if I step into this moment and I go, okay, I'm going to give away everything. It's not even about giving it my all, because there's intention there. It's about having no purpose, no direction, and just being so connected and so moved by the present moment. That to me is like what creates the framework for those experiences to happen.
And you can't be told about it. like,
it's impossible to know what it's going to look like. You can't
it's
follow a series of steps. You can't.
You have to experience it. Like, if we had told him this is what you're going to experience, he'd be like, no.
No, or he might have imposed an expectation on it and tried to make it that.
Yeah. But it was, the thing that made it possible was all of the work that had gone in, not just on the retreat, but, getting to the retreat, but being here and going on that journey to remove all of those layers, to let it break out.
Yeah. And break out it fucking did. Oh my God. Like, as I feel into it, and you might be able to see this in this video or not, like, light comes behind my eyes and my eyes start to get watery. Not an emotion, but it's like the sensation of what I just witnessed is still so alive in my body that it's like when I feel into that, and I feel into just being present with the entirety of that experience, everything that was in the room, the emotion, the openness, the fierce energy,
the vulnerability.
Oh my God, the vulnerability. Just like, wow.
Yeah. That's Sex.Prayers.
So wow.
That's contact intimacy.
That's contact intimacy, which is a part of Sex.Prayers.
He definitely contacted intimacy.
Oh.
He was in contact with intimacy.
I just touched God. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I love contact intimacy. It's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the thing. I'm excited.
So much more to come.
So much more. I feel complete.
I do too.
Wow. Wow.